Hello, it's Saturday the 8th of August. You're tuned in to our 6 p.m. newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. It's very good to have you with us. I'm Mark Broome. Our top story this evening, Lee Hee-ho, the widow of former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung, is back in Seoul after wrapping up her humanitarian trip to North Korea. There had been speculation she might meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during her stay, but that never materialized. Choi You-sun starts us off.
Despite having been invited by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, the former First Lady neither had a chance to meet nor received a message from him during her 4-day stay. Likely pressured by anticipation her trip might break the impasse between Seoul and Pyongyang, Lee Hee-ho and her delegation stressed that she had traveled to the north as a civilian.
I was not assigned any official duties during my visit to North Korea, but with a sense of duty, I finished off my trip following the spirit of the two Koreas' June 15th joint declaration.
The June 15th declaration is an inter-Korean agreement to work together to achieve unification and to resolve humanitarian issues after a summit between Lee's late husband and former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung and late North Korean leader Kim Jong-il in the year 2000. The 92-year-old former First Lady, who is interested in supporting mothers and children in the North, is known to have spent most of her time delivering her personally woven mufflers and medical products to a women's hospital, a children's hospital, and orphanages.
While holding hands with children at a nursery and orphanage in Pyongyang, I realized we must not pass down the two Koreas' pain of division to our future generations.
As for possible explanations to why the North Korean leader didn't meet Lee, experts in the South say it reflects Kim Jong-un's passive attitude towards thawing relations with Seoul. Experts also note that the South Korean government did not deliver any messages through Lee saying that her trip was a personal one. It's also likely Pyongyang was not overly impressed with the group that accompanied the former First Lady, as its members were not actively involved in the historic June 15th declaration. Choi You-sun, Arirang News.
North Korea has yet to tell the UN agency in charge of telecommunications of its decision to move its clocks back 30 minutes to create a new time zone. The International Telecommunication Union says Pyongyang did not notify it of the plan prior to the announcement, adding that the decision was made independently. The ITU added that since countries are free to set their own standard times, it's not in a position to stop Pyongyang. North Korea caught everyone off guard on Friday when it announced that it would push back its standard time by half an hour on August 15th to mark the 70th anniversary of liberation from Japanese colonial rule. As it stands, right now at least, South and North Korea share the same standard time set under the colonial period. China is urging Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to use wording such as aggression, colonial rule, remorse and apology in his upcoming statement marking the 70th anniversary of Japan's surrender in World War II. China's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hua Chuning says Japan needs to send a clear and correct message about the nature of the war and the country's responsibility for the war. She went on to say that Japan should win the trust of the international community through concrete actions, adding that only by doing so can Japan achieve genuine reconciliation with its neighbours and develop future-oriented relations with them. Abe is set to release the statement on Friday, one day before the 70th anniversary. A nuclear reactor at one of Korea's nuclear plant facilities was halted earlier today due to problems with its coolant pump, but authorities say the reactor is currently stable and there were no radioactive material leaks. The state-run Korea Hydro Nuclear Power says the Hanbit reactor number 2 at its southwestern Yonggwang plant automatically stopped just before 3 a.m. Saturday Korea time. One of the reactor's 4 coolant pumps, which deliver heat inside the reactor to a steam generator, shut down when a circuit breaker got damaged from overheating. A fire also broke out because of the overheating, but was put out immediately. While authorities plan to restart the reactor after fixing the circuit breaker, they say power will continue being supplied as normal. Korea has reported its 34th straight day with no new cases of Middle East respiratory syndrome, or as it's more commonly known, MERS. The health ministry also says the death toll from the MERS outbreak has not risen in 28 days. 36 people have died in Korea from the virus since the first case was confirmed on May 20th. Now, 10 patients are still in hospital, but all but one have tested negative for the virus. The Korean government declared a de facto end to the outbreak late last month. Now, there's a common skin disease known as atopic dermatitis that makes your skin very dry and itchy all the time and often leads to infections. Fortunately, though, a Korean research team has developed an effective solution for this very unpleasant problem. Won Ji-yeon reports.
Atopic dermatitis, or AD, is one of the most common chronic skin diseases out there for both children and adults. People who have it may have a history of allergic diseases, and they get dry, itchy skin that's also often red and swollen. It can be extremely unpleasant, so much so for one patient that he hasn't been able to sleep comfortably for 16 years.
Not being able to sleep is the most painful part. There's also pus that oozes out of the rash of my skin, and it sticks to my clothes after I get dressed, which is very inconvenient.
But relief is on the way. Korean researchers have found a way to treat AD using a patient's own blood through what's called autologous immunoglobulin therapy. The team, led by Dr. Nam Dong-ho of Aji University Hospital, conducted a clinical trial on patients with severe cases of AD. The team gave the patients repeated intramuscular injections of a purified solution of their own plasma. In just 8 weeks, the protein concentration in the plasma had stimulated the patient's immune systems, resulting in a clinical improvement of more than 30%.
Immunoglobulin treatments are common in the scientific world. But the key part of our research is how we purify the plasma. We prepare the immunoglobulin solution in a completely sterile environment.
The treatment has attracted attention for its efficacy, and scientists say there are almost no side effects as the method uses a patient's own blood. Won Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Now, Korea's very first original musical, The Last Empress, marks its 20th anniversary this year. After gaining international fame, it has come back to local theatres with a new look and storyline for its legion of fans here in Korea. Kim Jong-un reports.
It's not difficult to be enticed by the refined court silhouette of The Last Empress, let alone its captivating plot. The musical is based on the life of Empress Myeong-sung and her death by Japanese assassins in the late 19th century. Kim So-yeon, who plays a leading role of Empress Myeong-sung, says she couldn't help but cry while portraying such a historical figure.
Sometimes I couldn't carry on during the songs about her son and internal struggles. It brought tears to my eyes.
The Last Empress is regarded by local critics as something of a milestone. It's considered as the country's first blockbuster musical, mainly attributed to its international recognition and success. The Last Empress was the first Korean musical ever to be performed at the Lincoln Center's New York State Theater in 1997. The musical was so popular, it returned to the New York Staple venue in summer the following year.
It was something of a miracle. We weren't able to pay the performers at the time due to budget restraints, but they followed along with national pride in mind.
To keep up with the changing times, the latest version added songs and a subplot about a security guard in charge of protecting the Empress.
This musical success shows that original productions and their adaptations can be well made while appealing to the general public.
The Last Empress is played at Seoul Arts Center's Opera Theater through September 10th. Kim Jung, Arirang News.
Now, shifting gears now, and it's looking more and more likely the US Federal Reserve will start to raise rates from near zero in September. With the latest data on inflation and the US labour market relatively positive, analysts say it's becoming increasingly harder for even dovish Fed officials to justify historically low interest rates. Reuters reports that officials at the Fed are worried that any further delay could damage the central bank's reputation, especially if the US economy continues to pick up steam as it has been doing. Fed Chairwoman Janet Yellen has indicated that the hike will be gradual, however. Interest rates in the US have been near zero since the depths of the global financial crisis in 2008. At least 4 people are dead, 4 missing and more than 100 injured after the strongest storm of the year, Typhoon Sodulo, slammed Taiwan on Saturday with powerful winds and torrential rain. Officials also say the storm has cut power to at least 2 million households. The typhoon made landfall in the early hours of this morning on the island's east coast, bringing up to 1,000 millimeters of rain and winds gusting up to 200 kilometers an hour. As you can see, it caused flash floods and mudslides, very dangerous. The Tropical Storm Risk website says the typhoon was a Category 2 storm on a scale of 1 to 5, but it should weaken as it moves over the east coast of mainland China. And finally, taking a brief look at the weekend weather here in Korea. And today is Ipchu in Korea, traditionally regarded as the beginning of fall, but it continues to be very hot across the entire country. It will be another very warm night with the overnight low only dipping to 24 degrees Celsius in Seoul. Sunday will be another hot day, but temperatures will be a couple of degrees lower with highs in the low 30s across most of the country. With that, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, that's all we have for now. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, wherever you're watching us, and stay tuned to Arirang TV. We'll be back with our next newscast at 10 p.m. Korea time. Till then, goodbye.